I feel fortunate. I feel found. This book right here has changed my life.
Number 10, Pamela Adlon. Actress Pamela Adlon went on Finding Your Roots in 2022 to validate a long-held rumour in her family that her mother was the product of an extramarital affair.
It's very hard, the English side, because there are things you don't do.
Yes.
If they have gone to their graves without talking about it, it's not anybody's business.
Right.
And that's frustrating for me.
Through an arduous research process, the show ultimately confirmed that the rumour was indeed right. Adlon discovered that her actual grandfather was not the man she had known all her life. Instead, it was someone else, named Joseph Wolfew. Further investigation revealed that Wolfew had another daughter named Gloria, who shared a 25% DNA match with Adlon's mother, making them half-sisters.
Oh my God, this is crazy.
Your mother's got a sister.
Remarkably, Gloria was found to still be alive and well. Adlon was overwhelmed by this revelation and could not contain her excitement to share the news with her mother.
What's your mom going to say when she sees that picture?
Freak out. Oh, I can't wait. I just can't. Yes! This is awesome.
Number 9, Claire Danes. Claire Danes was named after her paternal grandmother when she was born. But beyond that, she didn't know much about the other Claire Danes.
I wonder about her a lot. I have a portrait of her that my parents loaned me. Mm-hmm. And I stare at it all the time, you know. Who were you?
On a 2023 episode of Finding Your Roots, Danes discovered that she and her grandmother shared so much in common. It turned out that her grandmother, like herself, was deeply involved in theatre, directing local productions and even writing her master's thesis on William Shakespeare.
What's it like for you to see that?
Profound. That's really, really meaningful. It just is.
This connection was particularly poignant for Danes, who had her breakthrough role in the 1996 film adaptation of Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. After years of wondering about her grandmother's life, learning about their shared passion was enough to bring Danes to tears.
It's kind of amazing. Sorry, it's very provocative, all this.
It is.
Yeah, it's like the most vital stuff, right?
Oh, it is. And it's right there in your family tree. It's just remarkable.
It really is. It really is.
Number 8, Tamera Mowry.
I wonder what she did to escape her current situation.
Right. Mm-hmm.
What were her thoughts of hope?
What's her flights of fancy?
Yes.
The horrors of slavery will forever be agonizing regardless of how many times they are recounted. For actress Tamera Mowry, it was particularly distressing to find out about the harrowing ordeal suffered by her third great-grandmother, Margaret Roll, who was born into slavery in the Bahamas. At a mere 9 years of age, Roll was already listed in an official document as a field labourer, a reality that was incomprehensible to Mowry.
I know my kids, you want to protect them, you want them to keep that innocence.
Yeah.
But for Margaret,
The actress was further overcome with emotion as she contemplated the unimaginable journey her ancestor was left to endure to attain freedom following the abolition of slavery.
And she was old enough to be conscious of.
that's yes.
I was
this, and now
I'm
there's
that.
this.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm feeling right now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, just that moment of...
Number 7, Sterling K. Brown.
Wow. Oh my goodness. My family's going to flip.
Although African Americans trace their origins to individuals forcibly brought from Africa, it is rare to find people who were directly born on the continent in their family lineage. This is because by the time African Americans were first identified by name in the 1870 federal census, most of those born in Africa had already passed away. One of such rare cases occurred with actor Sterling K. Brown.
Birthplace of father, Africa, birthplace of Mother Africa.
On finding your roots, Brown discovered that his fifth great-grandparents were among the few native-born Africans who were still alive when the census took place. While their exact country of birth was not specified on the document, the revelation still had a profound impact on Brown.
When you hear like your friends talk about their German ancestors and their Irish ancestors and Italian ancestors, like I feel like I'm on the cusp of like I can join in that conversation.
Number 6, Regina King.
You know, I couldn't imagine that 6-year-old being alone.
Right.
And, you know, seeing it like this and seeing it written
Yeah.
just kind of hits differently.
The third great-grandfather of actress and director Regina King was a man named Bob Kane, who was born into slavery. At a very young age, Kane was treated like a piece of property, passed among the family members who enslaved him. Reflecting on such a harsh reality, compared with her own life at the same age, brought King to tears.
At the age of 6, I was safe.
Her sorrow eventually turned to joy when she learned that after slavery ended and voting rights were granted to formerly enslaved people, Kane immediately registered to vote. Despite being unable to read or write at the time, Kane was determined to exercise this fundamental right, which filled King with immense happiness.
He understood the importance of that and what that meant. And like you said, even though he couldn't read and he couldn't write, he could feel.
Number 5, Scarlett Johansson.
It's crazy to imagine that Saul would be on the other side selling bananas
Oh, yeah.
on Ludlow Street.
Yep.
And how different it would be being in America at that time. The fate of one brother versus the other.
Scarlett Johansson's roots trace back to Poland and Russia, with her maternal ancestors migrating to New York City in the early 20th century. Although Johansson had prior knowledge of this ancestry, it was on Finding Your Roots that she uncovered the fate of her relatives who remained in Europe. Her maternal great-grandfather, Saul Schlamberg, had a brother named Moshek, whom he left behind in Grudziądz, Poland.
Moshek was about 60 years old at the time. He and his wife had 10 children.
Through a document retrieved from the Yad Vashem Holocaust Museum in Israel, Johansson discovered that Moshek and some of his children lost their lives in the Warsaw Ghetto. This revelation not only made her cry, but it admittedly also helped her to consider her heritage in a new way.
It makes me feel more deeply connected to that side of myself, that side of my family. I didn't expect that.
Number 4, LeVar Burton. Roots actor LeVar Burton indeed found out more about his roots when he appeared on the show in 2024.
Can't even explain how it feels to get this information. It's like there have been pieces of me that have been missing. They've always been out there somewhere.
For 23 years, Burton hosted the educational series Reading Rainbow on PBS, becoming an advocate for children's literacy. On Finding Your Roots, Burton discovered that his passion for education, which he once attributed solely to his mother, may have also come from the ancestors of his father, from whom he had been estranged for decades.
So you just met your great-grandfather?
Pearl.
Yeah, Pearl B. Burton. And he and your grandfather worked in education.
A 1940 Arkansas consensus document revealed that both his grandfather, Aaron C. Burton, and his great-grandfather, Pearl B. Burton, served as school superintendents. This struck Burton profoundly, as he realized how deeply his family's legacy had influenced his own advocacy, despite not being aware of it initially.
You just opened the door, and the whole room was on the other side of the wall, you know?
No kidding. My reality has shifted.
Yeah, because you thought all of these attributes you got from your mom.
From my mom.
Yeah.
That's deep.
Number 3. David Duchovny. The ancestors of actor David Duchovny faced an arduous journey from their homeland before establishing their roots in the US. Upon learning that his great-grandfather Moshe was born in Russia, Duchovny was immediately brought to tears.
I know what that affects me. You've come a long way. It just makes me so sad that I didn't get to meet him, really.
He further discovered that Moshe and his family were part of about 1 million Jews who left Russia to escape anti-Semitic violence. However, even after moving to Jaffa in present-day Israel, the discrimination continued, and they were eventually deported to Egypt.
Newspaper articles from the time indicate that many of Jaffa's Jews were robbed of all their possessions, meaning that David's ancestors would have arrived in Egypt with nothing.
Moshe and his father ultimately sailed to the United States and settled in New York. Their resilience in seeking a better home and securing a stable future for their descendants deeply touched Duchovny and left him with a sense of pride.
They ran and they got somewhere. You know, they didn't give up.
Number 2. Tracy Morgan. Before the Civil War, only a small fraction of black people living in America were not enslaved. One of them was Wiley Wharton, who happens to be the 3rd great-grandfather of comedian Tracy Morgan.
Did you ever imagine that somebody in your family line was free before the Civil War, before the Emancipation Proclamation?
Good for you, Grandpa.
This fact came to light because Wharton was listed by name in the 1860 census. For Morgan, the revelation that his ancestor didn't have to endure being enslaved brought him a mixed feeling of relief and intense emotion.
I'm free when I'm on stage. I feel free. When I'm on stage doing my comedy, I feel free. I know it came from you.
However, although Wharton was free, his wife Judy and their children were still in slavery. Fast forward a decade after the practice had been abolished, records indicate that Wharton, Judy and their children all remained together and learned to read and write.
All the children stayed with them?
They all stayed with them. The Wharton family stayed together through slavery and freedom and Reconstruction.
Number 1. Pharrell Williams.
I don't want to cry. And I'm trying not to be angry.
You're not a machine. This is horrendous. What else can you feel? It's horrible.
It's intense, sir.
Few African Americans have gotten the opportunity to trace their enslaved ancestors, and even fewer are lucky enough to read their first-hand testimonies. In a 2021 episode of Finding Your Roots, acclaimed musician Pharrell Williams was introduced to his great-great-great-aunt, Jane Arrington. Arrington was a participant in the Slave Narratives Project in the 1930s and provided a detailed account of her years spent living as an enslaved person.
I was born on the plantation near Tar River. My mother was named Louisa May, and my father was named Louis May. My mother had 6 children, 4 boys and 2 girls.
Through her words, Williams gained insight into her harrowing experiences and was able to reflect on the hardship that she and many others like her were forced to endure. He also discovered that Arrington's brother, Fenner Williams, his great-great-grandfather, spent the first decade of his life enslaved.
It puts a very vivid, intense context behind what it means to be African American. And I thank God that I got to hear it. But I'm so sorry they went through this.
What other harrowing Finding Your Roots revelations did we miss? Trace them out in the comments below.